Yo, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another reaction video. We got things aren't looking good for Tua Tagovailoa. Let's check this out.
The Dolphins have decided that Tua is their long-term guy, and they recognize that it's going to cost them above $50 million. This is the team's approach to these negotiations going forward.
I absolutely love this
Now,
stuff.
my opinion on this, I really don't think Tua is worth the money. Same goes for T-Law. Like, bro, neither one of those guys are worth that much money that Tua's projected to get paid, or that Trevor Lawrence is currently getting paid. Like, bro, Tua has not proven himself yet that he can beat good teams. He proved that he can stay healthy, but he hasn't proved that he can beat good teams. Same goes for Trevor Lawrence. So I really don't understand what the hell is going on with this quarterback situation. But like I said in my last one of my last videos, that I said that these teams are probably scared of not being able to find their franchise guys, so that's where they're going all in on the guys that they have now.
Seeing quarterback contracts,
but
primarily because they're so
things are about to get crazy,
it's
bro.
difficult to determine whether or not a QB deserves to be paid $60 million a year annually.
Oh my gosh.
Tua, things have really gotten off to
niggas is about to be straight robbing teams.
We're giving away copies of College Football 25. The game comes out in 2 weeks. We're running 2 giveaways on
2 weeks, yo. We finna turn it up. Yes, sir. W intro.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Tua is one of the most unique quarterbacks in the entire NFL, because during the 2019 NFL season, Miami Dolphins fans were literally starting tank for Tua campaigns, and then they were able to get Tua over Justin Herbert. Then Miami Dolphins fans were wondering, damn, did we really make a mistake wanting Tua? Because it seems like Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow might be better quarterbacks.
You think?
The entire 2020 and 2021 season, Tua was consistently in rumors. There was a time where the Miami Dolphins were considering giving up multiple first-round picks and Tua to the Houston Texans for Deshaun Watson. And I'm not joking. We've made
I forgot about that.
over the span of those years. Just in regards to
that was an interesting time right there.
Imagine if that went down.
And then the whole
Miami
Brady
Dolphins
situation
would be in shambles right now. I mean, who knows? Maybe Deshaun Watson has a remarkable bounce-back season this year, or maybe he's just content with the fact that he got max QB guaranteed money and he continues shitting the bed. We'll have to see.
He just robbed Cleveland for real.
Tua wasn't really that great of a quarterback. He was definitely average, but he was far from the top QB in the NFL. To give you an idea, in his second season in the NFL, he completed 68% of his passes, threw 16 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. And then the Miami Dolphins shocked the world and decided to move on from Brian Flores, despite him actually making some progress as their head coach. In came Mike McDaniel, who instilled confidence into Tua and put him in probably the greatest possible situation any QB could be in. Not only did the Miami Dolphins already have Tua's buddy from Alabama in Jalen Waddle, but in the same offseason that they signed Mike McDaniel, they traded for Tyreek Hill, and that would make any quarterback's job exponentially easier. And as a result, Tua broke out. In year 3, he threw for over 3,500 passes,
but he couldn't stay healthy though.
To 8 interceptions, but he did deal with a lot of injury issues.
Like, bro, having 3 concussions in one season is crazy. That is so scary. Like, I don't know how the hell he even able to return in this game. Like, I'm glad they fired the medical staff after that, because that was bullshit.
Anyway, the horrific hit he had on
they were really trying to kill this nigga.
Bengals. There were questions of whether or not Tua should continue playing the game of football, and ultimately he decided to come back for year 4. And in year 4,
that took a lot of
Tua
guts.
put together his best season to date, completing 69% of his passes, throwing for over 4,600 passing yards, 29 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. So you might be thinking, Mike, what's the problem? Especially if Tua is consistently improving year after year. Well, there becomes this whole debate, and this one debate is summed up by a simple question that a reporter asked Mike McDaniel last October.
What was it? Folks who believe that many quarterbacks in this scheme,
damn, who the fuck coughing?
Coach with Tyreek and Jalen, maybe even many quarterbacks would excel, would flourish, be it near the top of the passer rater, leading MVP candidate. What, if any, pushback is there relative to? Wait, no, hold on. Tua is a little different.
Let's push this podium over.
My answer to that would
would be who the F cares, because it is a team. We're working together, and I know one thing: I haven't seen people do what our guys do.
At the time, obviously,
how could you not like Mike
was going to say
McDaniel,
that
bro?
Tua is our quarterback, and I don't want to even ask this question. But now that it's time for Tua to get a contract, it's a very legitimate question. Is Tua just a product of Mike McDaniel's system? Would Tua be this successful in any other NFL's offense? And it's very
wasn't Mike
difficult to say
McDaniel
this
under
because I
the
feel
Kyle
like this is
Shanahan
way
learning
more
tree as well?
complicated than just
That's
Mike
crazy,
McDaniel's incredible
too.
offense.
That is crazy, because they're saying the
Excellent
same
rushing,
shit about
has
Brock Purdy.
revitalized the career of Raheem Mostert, has made a fantasy superstar out of Devon Achane whenever he's healthy, and is known for its speed at the skill positions on offense. And the reason why this is such an important question to ask is because it's not like the Miami Dolphins are consistently in the conversation to win the Super Bowl. They had very similar fates in the first 2 seasons under Mike McDaniel. In the 2022 season, the Miami Dolphins went 9-8. They made it to the wild card, and they would lose to the Buffalo Bills with a backup QB because Tua was injured. They would lose by 3, which was pretty impressive,
that was a very
but at the
competitive
same
game.
time, I guess
And
it
they
kind
had
of reopens
backup,
the conversation
Ricky in
about the
there.
viability of Tua. But of course, you can make a compelling argument. Look, Mike, the Miami Dolphins didn't have their starting quarterback that year. So if the Miami Dolphins can protect Tua, then it's not that crazy to think that they can potentially make a run to the Super Bowl. The Dolphins were very aggressive that offseason. They parted ways with their defensive coordinator, Josh Boyer. They brought in Vic Fangio, who's considered to be a defensive genius. They traded for Jalen Ramsey. Pair Jalen Ramsey with Xavier Howard. That was supposed to be an exciting duo. And ultimately, they improved marginally.
They shit the
going
bed
11-6,
too.
making it to the wild card and losing to the Kansas City Chiefs. 2 more wins, but a similar result. So now you have to look at this team and also consider that the AFC East is very competitive. I know we always laugh at the New York Jets because, well, Aaron Rodgers does some pretty interesting activities in the
Darkest
offseason,
retreat.
but you're in
He's
a
probably on the
division
darkest
with
retreat right
an
now.
Aaron Rodgers-led team that
That's
is
probably why he's not showing up to
significantly over
minicamp.
the offseason, and the Buffalo Bills, who are the most dominant team in this division, and the New England Patriots, who are clearly rebuilding. So you're not really in a situation to waste dollar bills here, especially if you need to consistently improve each and every year, especially if Tyreek Hill is looking at the wide receiver market and is having his agent say this.
Fluid line of communication with them, and I've shared with them how Tyreek feels, and reiterate that Tyreek has said that he would love to finish his career here with the Dolphins. So the Dolphins
No
know
state
how
income
to-
tax.
Now, the Miami Dolphins made some pretty good moves over this past offseason. I mean, they added Calais Campbell on a proven contract.
Yeah, that was
They
a
also added
steal
Jordan
right there.
Brooks to replace Jerome Baker. They
I miss
added
Calais
Kendall
Campbell as a
Fuller.
Raven,
They also
bro.
added Odell Beckham Jr., Jonnu Smith, and Aaron Brewer on the offense. They drafted Chop Robinson and Patrick Paul. This is a team that is making really good moves, but then there's one question. What do you do with Tua? And this is not an easy question to answer at all, because in the very beginning, their general manager came out and said that they were interested in extending Tua, but they waited a little too long. I mean,
Yeah.
the Jacksonville
Now they got to pay
Jaguars,
Tua more
kudos to
than
them.
T-Law.
We made a whole video on this, but they extended Trevor Lawrence a whole 2 seasons early and decided to pay him the highest paid contract in the entire NFL. Why? Because in 2 years' time, that's probably going to look like a good contract. So now you have 2 players making Joe Burrow
Shit,
type
niggas
money.
probably gonna be
Jared
making
Goff
$300
got
million
extended
in the next
recently.
couple
And then you have
seasons.
The Dallas Cowboys with Dak Prescott, the Miami Dolphins with Tua, and of course the San Francisco 49ers with Brock Purdy. So the question is, how much do you pay Tua? And that's where things get really interesting.
Like I think, bro, Tua, like at most is worth like 30 mil, bro. I don't think he's worth nowhere near that 50 mil mark, bro.
In quarterback markets
just not.
is to just continue to make your quarterback the highest paid QB in the NFL. But does Tua really deserve to get paid more than Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Justin
Definitely not.
Herbert, Jared Goff, and Trevor Lawrence / Joe Burrow? Well, that's where things get interesting. According to Jeff Darlington, he says that Tua admitted this spring that he's growing impatient over contract negotiations with the Miami Dolphins. One reason
Well, whose fault is that, nigga? It's your fault that you're not that good, that they waiting this long, my nigga. Okay, so don't blame them. Blame yourself for being ass.
For the holdup on a potential long-term deal is because the Dolphins have yet to offer the Pro Bowl quarterback a deal comparable to the extensions recently signed by the Detroit Lions' Jared Goff and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
They know he's not worth that much money.
Said on NFL Live. This is complicated. I'm not saying that it won't get done, but right now there's 5 words that are looming over this contract negotiations, and they're the words that came out of Tua's mouth. The market is the market. Right now, the Dolphins are not offering the contract that is the market value based on those other deals that were done. We're not to panic point just yet, but the Dolphins are not in the Jared Goff and Trevor Lawrence ballpark. So to give you an idea, Jared Goff signed a contract that is going to be averaging $53 million per year. Trevor Lawrence is the highest paid QB in the NFL, but that contract doesn't kick in for another 2 years. And this is where it gets very complicated because the market is just going to keep on inflating. Dak Prescott and Brock Purdy are also owed huge contracts. And then there's this question of, can you just get another quarterback to do Tua's job? I don't know.
And then Jordan Love contract coming up as well.
Because I think Tua was absolutely prolific last year. But how much of this is Tua and how much of it is Mike McDaniel's offense and the fact that he has Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle? You don't win Super Bowls by overpaying players that don't deserve that type of money. And in this particular case, don't be surprised if the Miami Dolphins do something unprecedented. I mean,
trust me, I would not be surprised at all.
The remainder of his contract, and I don't think the Dolphins would do this because, again, no team has ever done this, but you could simply just have Tua play on his contract year, then move on from him, and then draft a new QB on a rookie scale contract and invest that capital elsewhere. And until a team decides to do something like this, you're just going to see the market for QBs go up higher and higher and higher. But personally, in my opinion, if you decide to pay Tua as the highest paid QB in the entire NFL, I don't think the Dolphins will win a Super Bowl. It's not crazy to assume this because if you pay Tua that type of money, then your team is going to get significantly weaker. You're going to have to make cuts somewhere, and that's where things get very complicated. So let me know in the comment section down below if you're a Dolphins fan, how much should Tua get paid? If you want to see our video on the Trevor Lawrence contract and why I think it's genius, despite it being the highest paid QB contract in the NFL, I'll leave a link to that in the end screen. If you prefer to watch me discuss why my Dallas Cowboys are doomed, I'll leave that also in the end screen. I'll meet you guys over there, and aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.
Hey man, what do you guys think? Does Tua deserve, you know what I'm saying, a new contract extension worth $50 million, or should the Dolphins move on from him? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed everything. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Turn on post notifications, get notified when I know I drop a little banger video. We're on the road to 300 subs. I'm gonna get that for more banger NFL content like this. Without further ado, I'm out. Gang!